Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we are going to take a look at a requested figure that someone was interested in seeing here on the channel, and this is the Great Dinos Safari LTD Triceratops. This, as I said, was one of the Great Dinos figures. I do believe it is still for sale, and is honestly a beautiful Triceratops figure. I feel like the Great Dinos line from Safari LTD is severely underrated because they do really have some fantastic looking sculpts on some of these figures, and this Triceratops is no different. It is honestly one of my all-time favorite Triceratops figures. It is really that nice. And to prove that point, we are going to go ahead and get a closer look right now. Now, this figure has been released for quite a long time now, but because it was requested, I did put this on the channel, so hopefully you guys are interested in this as well. This sculpt, again, like I said, is really nicely done. You can see a lot as far as beautiful skin texture and large scaling going on up here in the face area. It kind of mutes out the detail a little bit around the nostril, but I still think it really looks beautiful. There's some nice paint application, but I think the paint application isn't really that great. I feel like this rim of this lighter color isn't really that nice as far as that goes, but the horns themselves do look quite nice. It would have looked better with maybe a dark wash over them, but it still looks good regardless. There are actually a few different versions of this as far as the paint application goes, so if you order this one currently from Safari LTD, I don't know if you'll get this paint scheme or a different one, as like I said, it's been repainted a few different times. You can see the beak is a nice blackish color, the inside of the mouth is painted and really is nicely sculpted in there. It's a little hard to see as it's a pretty small mouth, but it does look really nice. The nostrils are beautifully painted, and they have a nice black color inside to give you that very dark look like it should have. The eye is painted with a beautiful black coloration, and you can see as I'm turning it here that it shines very realistically in the light and glistens like a real eye would. The detail around the eye is also really nicely done. Both sides of the head sculpt look fantastic, and again, I said this is one of my favorites as far as sculpts go when it comes to Triceratops. I really do love this. It kind of has a very similar feel to the Pegasus Hobbies Triceratops, in my opinion. As you start to come back the neck, you can see some very nice sculpt work as far as the wrinkling of the skin goes. You can pick up on the shoulder blade, elaborating a little bit from the skin right there, and then you run down the leg. Look how very nicely sculpted the skin detail is here of the leg. Beautiful crease here in the joint of the front leg as the leg is lifting up off the ground. The nails are painted really nicely with a dark gray, and you can kind of see that there is primarily it's like a grayish color, but there's like a khaki color that's been dry brushed over it, really bringing out the detail in a very realistic fashion. You can also pick up on some osteoderms and stuff throughout. Then you come up here into the stomach region. You can see the very nice large type of skin texture. It really gives you the feeling like this is a very large animal with the way the skin is sculpted out there. You can see a seam right here in the center, and that's because I believe it's a hollow figure, which makes it a good bit lighter than most. And I think that might be one of the areas that people dislike about the Great Dino figures, is the fact that some of them have seams here in the stomach region. But I personally don't mind it, and especially considering how beautiful the sculpts are, I really can easily let that slide. Nice wrinkling going on here behind the front leg. As you can see, the leg is pushing into the stomach here, bunching the skin up, and right here this leg is stretching back, so you can see the skin stretching in this area. Beautiful scoots that you see up here along the back of the Triceratops, very nicely done as far as that goes. The hip bone is beautifully elaborated from the skin there. Again, there's some more of that really nice, very large animal type feeling skin texture that you do see there, along with some very large musculature there in the thigh. And as you come down into the leg, you can see the nice kneecaps are sculpted out there. That dry brushing has been done here as well and looks really nice. The feet look beautiful back here also. And then we come up into the tail, and as we run out the tail, you can again pick up on that very nice skin texture. It's like a dark brown up here on the top, and then it transitions to a dark gray, and that's been given a very nice dry brushing with that khaki type color to really bring out the detail beautifully, and it looks fantastic. I apologize if you hear any noises in the background as someone is setting fireworks off outside, which if they don't stop that soon and stop trying to interrupt my review, I'm probably going to have to send this Triceratops out to give them a nice little stab in the butt. But you can see some nice sculpt work here in the throat, and some nice hanging skin right there. Beautiful skin texture here in the chest area, and you can really kind of get an idea of the movement of the Triceratops there in the chest area with the way the skin has been sculpted. That looks beautiful. Nice wrinkling of the skin in this part of the neck as well. And the area behind the frill looks fantastic. I really like the way that's sculpted out. Beautiful skin texture there also. You can pick up on the shoulder blade here again. On this side, that very nice dry brushing and some very nice creasing here. Again, in the joint of the front leg. Beautifully painted nails over here as well. A little bit sloppy actually on this side, but not too bad. Not enough that I would complain about it. Some nice wrinkling going on here. Again, as this leg is pushing back here into the stomach a little bit. That very large animal feels sculpt-wise. As far as the skin texture, looks great here. The skin is being bunched up here also because this rear leg is pushing up into it now, whereas the other leg on the other side was stretching the skin. Very nice musculature here up in the thigh. You come down, you can really see the very nice bulging calf muscles. Beautifully sculpted foot on this side as well. And then you run out the length of the tail. There's a lot of skin wrinkling and creasing going on all over there. Nice dry brushing once again, and it ends in a very dark coloration here at the tip of the tail. The underside also sports some beautiful detail, even to the point of including what appears to be a cloaca. So very nice sculpt work, very scientifically accurate as far as this Triceratops goes. As far as a size goes on this Triceratops, from the tail to the tip of the horn, you were looking at about 10 inches, pretty much right on the dot, or about 25.5 centimeters. And for a height, the highest point would probably be the frill. You're looking at about, I hit him right in the face. You're looking at about 4 inches or about 10 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is the Papo T-Rex, and you can see that these two actually scale up really well to each other. And I feel like our Mr. Papo Rex buddy here would have potentially a pretty hard time taking down this Triceratops. But you can definitely get a good idea of the size of this figure by standing next to the Papo Rex. The Great Dino figures are actually really quite large, and that is definitely one of the appealing factors of those figures in my opinion. However, this Papo Rex here should help give you a good idea of that fact, and the fact that this is a decently sized Triceratops. So as far as the Great Dinos Triceratops goes, I feel like the Great Dinos figures from Safari LTD are severely underrated and really just don't get talked about near enough because they really do have beautiful sculpts. I think the sculpt of this Triceratops is absolutely gorgeous. Is it really quite as detailed as you would see on a more up-to-date Triceratops like the one they had released a few years ago? No, probably not. However, for its time, I think it is incredibly beautifully sculpted and still really kind of stands the test of time today as far as looking like a very beautiful representation of Triceratops itself. The paint application, although it looks pretty nice, isn't quite as nice as what you would see nowadays either. However, I still think that the overall coloration of this particular version is very realistic and something I could definitely see a Triceratops being. I think maybe a dark wash over the horns and the spikes along the frill would have probably made a little bit of a difference when it came to making that lighter coloration a good bit darker and giving it a more realistic look. However, I still think that it looks fantastic in general as far as the paint app goes. It's really nicely and naturally applied, and they are all realistic colors. I feel like the dry brushing they did also really helped to bring out a lot of the detail and make it look really, really beautiful. So if you do want to buy this Triceratops, I will throw a link in the description for you to head over to Safari LTD's website right now and go ahead and pick up this Triceratops for yourself. Again, I don't know for sure if you will get one in this paint scheme or what paint scheme it is currently being sold in. However, you get a good idea of what the sculpt looks like by looking at this one, and I'm sure whatever paint app they are currently using, it's just as beautiful as what you see here. So go ahead, check the description, head on over there, pick yourself up this incredible Great Dinos Safari LTD Triceratops. But before you do that, don't forget to please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.